video, we let you know that we lost the land in Morrison on Cooper because it wouldn't perk for 4 properties.
So back to Tennessee we go.
So Adra and I booked flights for December 6th at 6 a.m. in the morning, returning 2 days later on Wednesday, the 8th. So it's going to be a quick turnaround, so we got to be efficient with our property searches. So because of the last minute booking, we had to fly Spirit Airline. Well, you know what you're going to get, so we've taken it enough times now to know that they nickel and dime you for everything. So
no frills. Your ass is going to hurt like hell.
Yeah, hard seats, but luckily it's 3.5 hour flight there for our flight back. So we'll make do. We get in around noon, Monday afternoon, and as soon as my phone was online, we had a bunch of texts from Heidi on our Tennessee time thread. She already had a bunch of properties for us to go look at. But first, we got to get our car and get something to eat. So we pull out there and we use this company called Avail. They used to be in Nashville, and they drove up a Kia Soul, and then they took it away because they said there was something wrong with it. So then they gave us this car. We'll just have to make do with this one.
Oh, boo-hoo.
So before we even get out of the parking lot, Heidi's got more properties coming, and you can see here, she's got these 3 properties in Smithville. So they're really close to the Herman property that we put an offer on the very first time. We weren't sure that we could take these 3 properties and turn them into 4, so while we were driving around, her and Ed were doing some research in the background, and I'm texting Josh. And at first Josh said he didn't think that we could get that property with the 3 lots on it, so we had to check that out. So after we get the car, we need to go eat breakfast. So we're in Nashville, we're in Tennessee. We do what we always do. We went to Waffle House. So now with our full bellies, we didn't have enough time today on Monday to go all the way to Smithville, but I had some properties lined up in Kentucky. So we got in the car after we ate and we headed to Kentucky. Not all of us were thrilled with Kentucky though.
Yeah.
There was a couple people.
I think it was just you.
There was a couple people that I won't mention their names that said no to Kentucky, but their last name is of the avian species. So we did go there though, and the property was beautiful. It was in I think Franklin, Kentucky. And the one thing about Franklin, Kentucky that you can see from these texts here is that we found out it is a dry county. So John said, well, we can't live anywhere where Terry can't get her Chardonnay. So that was out. But it was beautiful. A lot of land there, and then we went and at least saw some pretty areas, and then we went to Bowling Green and got to see that little town. So it wasn't a complete loss, but Kentucky was out, so we're gonna go back to Nashville, walk downtown, get a little music and some booze, get some sleep, and then tomorrow we were
Bright
going to
and early.
head east to Smithville, McMinnville, and that whole area, Gordonsville. I think those are all things. So after a night's sleep, headed out. Okay, so now it's Tuesday morning. We left bright and early, and our first stop was a town called Gordonsville. So while we were in Gordonsville, Heidi was talking to this realtor, and she was finding out the information about Smithville, those three properties that were side by side that we were going to see if we could buy it as a whole, because all three together were over 20 acres, so maybe we could just redivide it into 4 properties. Well, in Gordonsville, we found a property that was really close to the freeway. It was pretty, right?
It was up on the hill.
It was up in the hills. Oh, we got dogs barking. It was up on the hills, so it had a lot of levels. I liked it because that's kind of what I was looking for. It had plenty of flat areas, but it also had hills and views. The only problem was we talked to the realtor while we were walking the properties, and the whole time I'm walking with Heidi. Heidi's on FaceTime. She's loving the property. But the realtor came back and said, nope, there's no way this thing will perk for 4 sites because of all the limestone. So Gordonsville's out. Yeah, it was big. So then after Gordonsville, I got in touch with the realtor that Heidi had been talking to, and that's a side story. So Heidi had told us that this realtor was the listing agent for Smithville. So I'm talking to her, and she's waiting there for us. But we said, you know, you don't need to wait there for us. We had a mix-up. We went to Gordonsville first. She was in Smithville. And when I'm talking to her, I noticed by her some of the things she was saying, talking about the other realtor, that she's not the listing agent. So come to find out that Heidi had just gone on realtor.com, and what they do is they just assign a realtor, any realtor that might pop up on their radar. So when I mentioned to this lady that, well, we already have a realtor, we thought you were the listing agent, I'm so sorry, she got a little upset. Heidi was excited because this girl was from California and they had this great conversation, but she was not the listing agent, so she would have been cut out of the whole deal because we weren't going to leave Josh, because Josh has been with us through thick and thin. So for those of you who don't know how realtor.com works, just be aware, if you already have a real estate agent, don't go on there and get assigned an agent. Now, part of it is realtor.com's fault because they really don't make that clear. So you think when you're calling the number that you're getting the listing agent. Well, that's not how it is. So anyways, this lady was upset with me. There's nothing I could do. But at that point, we were almost to Smithville because I was on the phone with her. And we get there, and it's a beautiful property. We pull up. It was right, a block away from the Herman property. Yep. It did take us a while to find it, though. We kept missing the street. So the streets there are pretty small. So we finally find it. It's pretty flat, and we just got a good vibe from it, right? Mm-hmm. So we get on the phone with Heidi. We're FaceTiming with her. We're texting everybody in Tennessee time. And we're just telling everybody, this looks good as long as we can get it and divide it into 4 properties instead of the 3. So that's the next thing. So now I'm texting Josh, I'm texting Heidi, Ed's texting the county. We're trying to find out if we can divide this thing into 4. So while we're walking around the property, a lot's going on behind the scenes. We find out that yes, it can be divided into 4, but we have to do what's called flag properties. So a flag property is where, well, kind of take a look at this, where you have to have at least 50 feet from the road going back to the back properties. So it kind of looks like a flag. So Heidi comes up with this layout while we're still out there looking, and we think this may work. So you can see on the two flags on either side go back to the back properties. Now we just need to decide if they will accept our offer. So I was texting Josh, and we were wondering, well, should we go in with a low offer? Well, Josh says they've already got a cash offer, but it's contingent with the sale of the people's home. So I called Josh. We said everybody's on board, and he wrote up the offer and submitted it, and we will find out in the next episode if we got it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and tell everyone about our Tennessee Time video. We'll see you later.